Alright, so today's video is kind of one of these videos which I really wanted to do, mainly because I wanted to talk about this movie for a while. In fact, this movie I actually watched just like a little bit ago, and I feel like that I should talk about it, mainly because, number one, this is a childhood movie that I used to watch a lot as a kid, and me having to rewatch this movie was one of those, it just felt like a nice experience, but also, I feel like that I generally should just review. So today's video is gonna be talking about the movie of Live Free and Die Hard, and I also want to say that this is also being filmed on a brand new camera I just bought, and I will review in the future. So yeah, let's get started. Now, I want to say that I'm not great with explaining movie plots, or basically plots in general, so I pray to God that I can get this right. It's the next day, and I felt like I didn't explain the plot properly, or at least in the way that I felt like it would be good to actually explain the plot, so I'm going to try to do it again. So John McClane, who's played by Bruce Willis, is out to go and save the character of Matthew Farrell, who would be involved in a competition to mostly see if he can crack an algorithm which would be run by a security brand, but would actually be a cost-saving measure for a process of a fire sale, who would be run by Thomas Gabriel. As if all the other hackers who had worked with Thomas Gabriel to break that algorithm, most of them would be killed besides Matthew Farrell, who John McClane would save in the beginning of the movie and would take him to Washington, D.C., where basically the fire sale would begin. And this fire sale would contain, number one, transportation, number two, financial bases and telecoms, and number three, utilities, including gas, water, nuclear, electricity, and all that kind of stuff. But in the whole process, the government is trying to find Thomas Gabriel, and in the whole process, John McClane uncovers with Matthew Farrell that Thomas Gabriel is running the whole fire sale and didn't even realize that they were a part of the whole process to steal what would basically be financial information at this place called Woodlawn. And in the whole process, Thomas Gabriel's guys try to kill Matthew Farrell in the whole process, but also John McClane in the whole process fails miserably. And now, it would get to a point to where John McClane would confront Thomas Gabriel along with Matthew Farrell, trying to hack his way to keep Thomas from getting to where he wanted to get to. But in the whole process, Thomas Gabriel still got to that point to where he got to basically take all the financial information that he wanted. But I'm gonna basically leave it there, since I felt like that I shouldn't try to spoil too much more of the movie. Now, one thing which I do like is the actors. Justin Long, who plays Matthew Farrell in this story, I think that his work is really good in this film. I think the way that he does his acting and stuff like that, he does really well in this film. And it's sad because nowadays he's not really in too many big roles and stuff like that. I feel like if anything, nowadays he'd be a really great actor to be able to be in some films. Bruce Willis does a really good job in this film as well. I think if anything, Bruce Willis does, he's usually really good in a lot of different films, especially in the original Die Hard movie. But in this movie, he's also a great role in this movie, especially when they couldn't replace the John McClane character with some other person. I think that the action and the camera work is also really good. I think that if anything, some of the camera work or some of the editing is not that great. There's some parts where it extends for way too long, but I think if anything, besides that, I really do enjoy the film. And the music that they chose along with orchestrated as well is really good too. In fact, there's actually this one song which actually plays in the beginning of the film. It actually makes a very small role, which is called Rock and Roll Queen by the Subways. Now it's one of my favorite songs, and that's where I found that song, because of Live Free and Die Hard. Now, one thing that I do not like about this film, which is just one of those things which is trying to be a dramatic effect of how the fire sale was gonna go, is basically this first step of transportation. There's this one scene where John McClane and Matthew Farrell are talking about the news outlets, about how manipulated they are, but they get into a car accident, and in this one scene they show a bunch of different locations where car accidents are happening, and I look at it and it kind of makes me smirk a little bit. It doesn't make me cringe, but it's one of those things where I think it's an overreaction of how it could actually go, but I know it's just a movie. It could be a lot, I know that it could be a lot worse than this, but that's one thing which I kind of think it kind of makes me roll my eyes a little bit. Not too much, but I think if anything it could be better than this. I do really like the action in this movie as well. The action, I think, if anything, is not... I feel like that the action is really, really good in this film, especially when some of the scenes are, like, surprising to see nowadays. Because there are some scenes which I think, if anything, work really good in this film. Especially when some of the scenes feel like that they're new scenes to me and stuff like that. Like, when I was watching this film when I was a kid, I used to love watching those scenes and stuff like that. Especially this one scene where basically Bruce Willis takes this old Ford Explorer and he takes it and basically kills one of the bad guys or girls in the film. And then it gets to a point to where Bruce Willis has to grab onto this part of an elevator shaft. I think it's some sort of like chain or something like that. Not chain, but it's like some sort of rope. But besides that, I think if anything, the movie itself, I think it's a really good film. Especially when this used to be a film which I used to watch a lot as a kid and stuff like that. I don't think that the film would be out of touch nowadays. I think if anything, this film would be a great film for new people to watch nowadays and stuff like that. It's a really good film. I love it. I'm happy that I watched this film as a kid. There's another film out there which I saw, and I would love to watch it again at some point, but I do want to say thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Bye.